Hollywood and the contradictory insider accounts of consumer culture. So I want to end with the question of cinema and films as complex examples of consumption and ideology. Ideology is an important concept within film studies, in part due to the repetition of certain identities, types of protagonists and stories. Hollywood posits inherent naturalness, for example, to things like heterosexuality, and even today nearly all Hollywood films feature primary or secondary subplots that are basically heterosexual love stories or relationship scenarios of one kind or another. And we could go on, all the kinds of the fact that Hollywood movies nearly inevitably feature white protagonists, and most of the time, even until very recently anyway, they've been male protagonists, etc., etc. Even more than this though, how is such an ideology stressed through a narrative film? The role of both the protagonists, who stars in the movie and what they do, etc., who's usually the hero, but also the endings of the movies are really crucial here. So what do the movies seem to affirm as the right order of things? What constitutes a happy ending in a Hollywood movie? So we can study any film for how it operates in terms of the debates around consumerism, ideology and identity from both the production and consumption standpoint. So who made the films and how we're consuming them, etc. Today my examples, however, are films that offer variously critical comments about the role of consumerism in American life from within a context, Hollywood of course, that, as Adorno but many others have argued, is itself a crucial site of consumerism and the ideology of consumerism itself. So really putting it bluntly, how is it that such films can critique consumerism while exemplifying it themselves as consumer products for which we pay, but also often glamorous texts that propagate standards of beauty and behaviour, etc. So the contradictions here are really fascinating and rich, I think, to sort of think through. Is this an inherently contradictory and hypocritical stance for these films to take? Or does it reveal certain truths about reality in a capitalist society? In other words, are these films proper symptoms of our history and our inherently conflicted relationship to shopping? So these are the films that we're going to watch or have a little look at. Double Indemnity, a classic film noir from the 1940s with a really wonderful supermarket sequence. Another supermarket scene in The Long Goodbye, a more ironic kind of commentary on the banality of consumerism. Then we're going to look at a kind of horror film that's about where consumerism becomes all pervasive. And then finally, The Lego Movie and its kind of upfront critique and yet concurrent kind of selling of the consumer act. Thanks very much for listening.